Okay, in this video, I'm going to show you how we're going to complete the shed for part one. The assignment is going to be 213A, part one. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and log in NetLabs. Okay, I already logged in, so I'm going to enter the lab. Gave myself an hour and almost hour and a half, almost hour and a half. I'm going to enter. Okay, again, I said this in the previous video. Be mindful of what pod you're in. I'm in 27. That's the one I'm probably going to go to every time we go into class. All right, and be mindful of the time. Okay, you want to make sure when you go in and make your reservation that you give yourself, you can drop down to the end time. Uh, give yourself at least an hour. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and launch Rivet from here. Okay, actually, I'm going to launch Rivet. I'm also going to launch my Google Chrome. Okay, so while that's going, let's see which one opens up first. Like the Chrome window. So I'm going to go into my Google Drive. Type of search Google Drive. Sign in. I'm going to minimize the window. Just to see there is Rivet still trying to load up right behind the Google Chrome window. Go to Drive. Put in your email. Right, next, and then put in your password. Okay, and you guys can always email me, send me a message. Let me know if you can't get into NetLab. I can reset it for you. Okay, any time of the day during office hours, during school, and after on the weekends. Okay, so I'm going to click never because I'm not going to save my information on here. I'm going to log off afterwards. That's a security measure that you guys should also be accustomed to. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to minimize the window, and then here I have my Rivet open. So what I'm going to do is, just so you guys can see it, I'm going to undock it. Let's see what it looks like undocked. All right, you can undock it so that way we can see the window bigger. All right, see there's a separate window there. Then I'm going to maximize the window. Now I have Rivet all the way open. Okay, so I'm going to click new, and then you're going to drop down to Imperial Architectural Template. All right, make sure it's a new project. Hit OK. All right, and so before you do anything, we're going to save it first. Okay, I think on the instructions it tells you to save it as Green Utility Shed, first initial, last name. All right, so for demo purposes, as long as I see your initials, that I know it's yours. I'm going to be looking for that when you make your submission. So I'm going to click Save as Project, right, second from the top. And then be mindful also where it's going to be saving, okay? So what I'm going to do, I know I said earlier, make sure you leave it on the desktop, but I'm going to go ahead and just leave it in the Downloads folder. Okay, I'm going to click on Computer. There's a couple ways you can see it. Here's Downloads. I'm going to double click Downloads. I'm going to put it in the Downloads folder because that's where the file is going to go every time you switch back and forth to your Google Drive, onto NetLabs, onto Rivet. Okay, let me make myself clear. So I'm going to name it J Castillo Shed, and I'm going to put today's date, 10/27/2020. Okay, I have several copies on my computer. So there, I have it saved. There, it's going to save. Okay, so here it is up here. Let me highlight it so you guys can see it. I'm going to be looking for, when I look at your submissions, and we don't want to see your name on here. Okay, so when you screenshot your shed, I want to make sure that your name is on here, your first initial, last name, at least somewhere onto the title of your design. All right. Okay, so now, so we're going to build our floor plan. So here, let me move it over. Okay, because I have this, my desktop view 200%. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to change to level 1. Go over on the bottom left here. This is the project browser window. And this is the properties window up here. These two things on the side are always going to be very important. Okay, if you lose it for some reason, if your Rivet opens up, say you have it looking like this, right? I'm going to close it and it's empty. Don't be afraid because now I don't see my window. Okay, scroll up, right? You can always check it. Click on view. I'm going to click down here because I don't even see it at all. There we go. I'll go up. Okay, so I'm going to click on the view tab, right? These are all the tabs up here. I'm going to click the view tab, and then I'm going to go here to the right where it says user interface. I'll click on that, and then I'm going to check project browser. It opens up. Let me get it one more time. And then the properties browser. Okay, the properties tab. So these should show up, right? It's usually the properties tab. Let me scroll down a little bit. Okay. So the properties window is usually up here on the top left, and then the project browser is right underneath it, okay? So if you guys don't see that, just go ahead and click the view tab right up here. Let me move this zoom window over. Okay, click on the view tab. Let's go back up, right? These are all the tabs, right? File, architecture, structure, steel. Let's scroll to view tab and then click on the user interface box and make sure you have the project browser checked and then the properties window checked also. Let me go ahead and annotate that so you guys can see that. Okay, I'm gonna go step by step on here. So this should be checked. Well, let's redo that one. Okay, so this should be checked right here, right? And this should be checked. Properties and project browser. All right. Okay, so now we have our plain blank workspace, okay, for our design. I have it called J Castillo Shed 10/27/2020. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, let's scroll down, and we're going to change the floor plan view level 1, and we're going to change rename level 2. So I'm going to right click, and I'm going to hit rename, drop up to rename. I'm going to name this floor. Doesn't matter if you capitalize it or not. Okay, enter. Would you like to rename corresponding level and views? I'm going to click yes. Okay, it's going to ask you for the same thing on for this one. So level 2, right click. I'm going to hit rename. I'm going to rename level 2 roof and enter. I'm going to hit yes. Okay, right. Okay, so now we're going to create our floor plan. Okay. Okay, so there's 5 things that we're going to do, 25 points, 5 point each. We're going to make our footprint 12 by 16. Number 2, we're going to make our walls 8 feet. We're going to include at least one exterior wall, which includes brick. We're going to create a floor, and then we're also going to create a roof. Okay, don't worry about the windows and doors. That's going to be like for part 2. All right, so now we're going to build our footprint, the floor. So double click, scroll down here so you guys see that. So double click on the floor plans. Okay, the project browser, you're going to see everything. And so what I'm going to do, what I'm doing is I'm zooming in and out. There you go. I'm looking for the elevation views, which is right there, 4 cameras. I'm going to pan up a little bit and center it on my workspace. Okay, I'm using the middle scroll wheel. You guys need to have a mouse. I'm not sure what the trackpad commands are. You might have to Google it, but I'm using the middle scroll wheel to zoom in and out. And then I'm panning left and right. I have my index finger on the scroll wheel, moving it that way. Okay, so you want to put your footprint, your floor plan in the middle. Okay, so let's draw the floor plan. Let me scroll up a little bit. Okay, so now you want to click the architecture tab and then click wall, and then we're going to draw the walls. There's 3 ways in the handout, but I'm just going to do it this way. So I'm going to left click one corner, going from left to right, clicking one corner, clicking, left clicking. See how it's snapping? Okay, Revit's going to automatically know, it's going to center it for you, right? 90-degree angles, and I'm going to click. So I'm going to hit enter and then escape, okay, to end that. So now we have our basic floor plan. So what we're going to do next, okay, step 2 is renaming the floor 1, level 1, level 2. Now we're going to draw the walls, okay? So what you want to do is, all right, so I'm going to hit the escape button again. I don't want to see the crosshairs. All right, so I want to see the cursor. So I'm going to click this wall, and I'm clicking on the north wall, right? So this is the north, this is the east, this is the south, and this is the west. So I'm going to click on the north wall, and then the dimensions are going to show up for the opposite wall. Okay, so if I click on the east wall, then the dimension is going to show on the south. Does that make sense? Okay, so we're going to change the dimensions. We're going to make this 16 feet wide and 12 feet tall. Okay, if we're just looking at it from above. Okay, we're looking at this floor plan from above. Okay, from the top level. So I'm going to click on the 40 here, and then I'm just going to delete that. I'm going to put 12, 12 feet, enter. Okay, so now let me scroll up and zoom up a little bit because we're going to make this, it's going to get really, really tiny. Okay, so now I'm going to click the opposite wall. Okay, because I want to change this 56 feet into 16. I hit 16, comma, enter. So now it's 12 by 16. So from here, what I want you to do, make sure you have it centered in between the elevation markers. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go clockwise, right? See my cursor? I'm going to go like this. No, actually, I'm going to go this way. I'm going to go left and up. So that's actually counterclockwise, I think. Left and up. Okay, so I can highlight the whole thing. Then I'm just going to click on the move command. I'm going to move this. Whoops. I'm going to hit escape. Okay, here's a move. Here's the move cursor. I'm going to move it just a little bit more center. See that? So now it's more center in between the camera, the elevation views. Okay, I'm going to say cameras from now. All right, so I'm going to hit escape. Okay, so let's go back to our floor plan. Okay, so now what I want to make sure we have our dimensions, right? So I click on the opposite wall, it's 12 feet high. I'm going to click on this wall, it's 16 wide. Okay, what I want you to do is lock them. Okay, so I'm going to hover over, actually hover over the 16 here. You can see that. Let me make it bigger. Okay, so I'm going to, let's click on this again. For 16, I'm going to hover like right here, just like this temporary dimensions. I'm going to click on that, and then the hash marks appear. Forgive me, I don't know the terminology. I'm going to click it again. I'm going to hover over. There we go. I'm going to hover over, and then the padlock comes appears, and I'm going to go ahead and lock the dimensions for 16. Okay. So that's 16 feet wide. So now I'm going to click on it again. So the dimensions on the opposite wall, which is the 12 feet, shows up. I'm going to click on the mini dimensions. Hash marks appear. And then I'm going to hover there on the inside. And the padlock appears. I'm going to go ahead and lock it. Okay, one thing I'm not sure if I mentioned, you can change. I'm going to move the dimension lines a little bit closer, because once we build on to the shed, we just want to tidy up our dimensions. And you'll see that when we do our house next semester. So see, I'm just going to move it. I'm going to tighten it up a little bit. Okay, you don't want it too far out. Okay, just like that. Okay, so it's 12 by 16 here. All right. So now I'm going to click on the wall. Make sure, see how these blue arrows, up and down arrows show up? We're going to make the wall orientation on the outside. So click on the wall. Make sure all these blue arrows are on the outside. Okay, so when we build the wall, when we add the material to the wall, we're just going to build the exterior. We're going to build it on the exterior. Okay, this is just a simple shed, right? Our houses have different layers of walls, right? There's interior walls, exterior walls, there's insulation in between. So for here, just make sure we're just going to build a simple shed, and your arrows are on the outside. Okay, you guys are going to see that once we put the roof on, and then, you know, your shed, your exterior walls, we're going to be making it brick, might look kind of funky, and this is probably the reason why. Okay, so this is our wall. So I'm going to stop here for this video and then continue on the next one.